Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on October the 20th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here, this is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money, especially right now. We are just a couple weeks away from the elections in the US, so expect volatility in the market. All right, so as usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So today there were OPEC meetings, and then we also have a whole bunch of Fed members, ECB. So, and then we have Powell speaking. Coming up here, we have monetary policy meeting minutes here. So again, the point we'll have to keep in mind would be, how is the central bank viewing the recovery here? Now, there is an increase in virus cases around the world, and will that change the way they're looking at the market? So that's what we have to keep in mind here. And if they are at all concerned about the economy, that will be negative for the Australian dollar. And coming up here on Tuesday, no critical data. Now, one thing though we have to keep in mind, there were comments from in regards to the stimulus package that they would like to pass the stimulus package this week prior to the elections. So right now we got two different things, opposing sort of things going on in the stock market. The talk of the stimulus package being passed is a positive thing for the stock market. And then the problem is, though, going into the elections, that's a negative thing because it increases the risk. And this is when the investors will shy away from that amount of risk. So two opposing things going in. Now, if the stimulus package is passed, that will be positive for the stock market. But if it gets delayed and doesn't pass, then of course going into the elections we could see a bit of a drop in the stock market. And when a stock market drops, we generally see money flow into cash, which will be US dollars. Okay, so other than that, we do have some housing numbers here. Housing numbers are generally important. So even though they are not marked in red here, I would keep an eye on this. If the numbers are positive, that would be good for the US dollar here. So let's go on to our charts here. We'll start off with euro dollar. Euro looking strong, but the concern here is it's going right into this resistance level here. And last time price was at this level, it had turned around. So now what we need to keep in mind here is this going to turn? So we may have this head and shoulders type of pattern here. So we could see something like this and a drop. So be mindful. So right now I'm going to say neutral to bullish here. We do have a nice bullish engulfing candle close. Excuse me, price was into our support here and it has bounced off of that level. And now we'll have to see what it does. Does it want to come back down, or is it going to go through like it did over here? So right now, neutral to bullish. Once price does close on the other side here, next target is 1.1830. So neutral to bullish here. Pound dollar. This one is more on the neutral side here. We see price went into the support resistance level here, and it wasn't able to get through. So it did a back test of this level and then bounced off of that. So we may see a bit of a pullback and then a drop here. So neutral bias here, neutral to bearish. Or actually, let's go with neutral. The volume here is neutral as well. So neutral bias, but as long as it holds below this 130.20, I would be looking for more of a drop. So in terms of the Brexit here, Brexit negotiations and just the back and forth with the Brexit is definitely going to weigh on pound. So any kind of positive comments, though, can push it higher. So that's something to watch out for. But any negative comments, anything that suggests that they are not going to reach an agreement or they are further apart than what the market believes them to be, that will be negative for British pound. So let's take a quick peek at, yeah, so this one went right into the resistance here, and now we may see a pullback. potentially into this support resistance level, something like that. We may see a drop here. So neutral bias, more to the bearish side than the bullish side here for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one is looking bearish. We have a bearish pin bar here. So looking for a further drop towards 0.700. So bearish bias for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar here. This is also looking bearish. Target is to the downside. First target 0.6550 and then 0.6500. So the only thing actually to keep in mind here for Aussie here will be the monetary policy meeting minutes. If they are very bullish or if they are positive about the recovery, that will push Australian dollar higher. So that's something to keep in mind. But otherwise, from technical perspective, this is looking bearish. Dollar CAD here, this one we see price seems to be holding here. We do have a doji, price was into support here. So this is a neutral to bullish here. If price, we may see a drop, a retest, and if it holds above 1.3150, then I'm looking for a move back into 1.3250, back into this level here. So it did reject the low today, but we may get a retest here. And if it holds above, then we're looking for a further move to the upside. So neutral to bullish here for dollar CAD. And then we have silver. Let's take a look at our commodity. Silver is looking neutral to bearish here. We do have a pin bar. It's not a very strong candle. So at this point, we may get a bit of a pullback and then looking for a drop. 23.50 is the first target. And then second target here is 23.10. So bias is neutral to bearish here for our silver. Gold, this is looking bearish as well. We have a pin bar here as well. Another pair with a beautiful back test here. Price went into the resistance and got rejected here. So now looking for a drop. So first target would be into this 1870-ish level. So let's take a look here, 1873 and then 1850. So bearish bias for gold as well. Oil is getting stuck into the resistance here. It's been struggling with this resistance for quite some time. And this is the range it has been trading in. So now it hasn't been able to break through this resistance for several days. And as long as it holds below here, I'm looking for a drop back towards the middle and then the bottom of the range. So first target here is 39.50. And then below that, we're looking at 38.50. Copper here, copper also struggling here with resistance. It's sitting into the high though. So neutral to bullish bias right now. If it does break through, then we are likely to see this move higher. So the difference here with this one is it's holding the highs here. It's holding above this previous support resistance level. And it's been stuck in this very narrow range for some time. So if it holds below 3.05, then I'm looking for a move back towards 2.98. But once it crosses, then we're looking for a continuation higher. At this point, it's it's indecisive right now. So neutral to bullish bias for copper here. Bitcoin has gone up. It is looking bullish. Now it is right into this resistance level here, but it's bullish. It's holding this previous support resistance level. And should it break through here, I will look for a further move higher towards 12,000. So bullish bias for Bitcoin. All right, stock market here, S&P 500 looking bearish. We see price did a beautiful back test here, went all the way to retest this previous support resistance level, and then held below the pivot point here, R1, and a nice drop. Now, this is an inefficient move, so it can get filled just like this one here. So keep that in mind. So for now, bearish bias. Now we may get a pullback into 34.65 area and then a drop and next target here will be 33.90. And another thing to keep in mind with S&P 500, NASDAQ, and our Dow Jones here would be the stimulus package talks. Any sort of positive stuff will be anything that's positive here can push the market back up. So watch out for that. NASDAQ here. NASDAQ is also looking bearish. Only thing to bear in mind here, it's right into that support. And if it doesn't get through, it can turn back around and continue to go higher. So that's something to watch out for. So that's the caution right there. But we do have a bearish candle close. So in this case, my first thought would be more to the downside here. So we may get a pullback, and then if it holds, we are likely to see that drop. So in this case, biases to the downside. First target would be 11,600, back into retesting the support level, and then 11,400. So bearish bias for NASDAQ. Dow Jones here. This one is also looking bearish. Again, the concern would be this support level right here. It's been stuck in this range over the last 2 weeks. So if it doesn't go through, again, we may see a move higher, but it is bearish. So once we see a drop here, I would look for a continuation back into that area. In terms of the targets here, the first target would be 27,650 and second target 27,250. So bearish bias for Dow Jones. And looking at DAX here, DAX also dropped here. It did go up initially and then has turned around and come back down. So we have a bearish engulfing candle. So looking for it to continue back into this 12,580 level. So bearish bias for DAX as well. FTSE here, FTSE also looking bearish here. We have a bearish engulfing candle close, and I will look for a move back towards the support level here towards the bottom of this range. This has been sideways as well for some time, and now looking for 5780 is the first target here. So bearish bias for FTSE as well. And last but not least, we have a bearish pin bar here for Nikkei, but looks like it did gap up a bit here, which means we just need to be careful here. And in this case, we may get a pullback towards 23,650. And if it holds, then I will look for a drop here. The concern again with these moves will be these inefficient moves. These inefficient moves get filled, just like this one here got filled. This one can get filled as well. So just keep that in mind here. But bias is bearish. And this one has also been trading sideways. It's been trading in a very, very narrow range. So we just have to be careful. So target here is 23,365. All right, so that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye for now.